Hello, everyone. How are you doing on this beautiful day? Best day ever. We get to connect with one of our tribe sisters, and I'm really excited about this one because this person who is coming on has a very special place in my heart. She lives where I was born, Monterey, California. So we always have had this connection before we actually connected. So I'm going to bring on Tanya Tarantino. She's going to chat with us all about her journey. She has an incredible story, running a race for a big purpose and reason. And also, I've worked with Tanya for several years. She's been in the tribe, she's been in the academy. We've done one-on-ones. We've really gotten to know each other and really dug through and kind of taught her, paved the way for the GFit lifestyle. And so I wanted to talk to her about how all of the teachings and all of the lessons and the years have all come together full circle now, but it didn't happen overnight. And I think that's a really important point because people think things happen overnight, right? All right, so I'm going to bring on Tanya, and I'm really excited to share her story, for her to share her story with all of us. Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. Very good.
Good. What a perfect day with the sunshine. I have to say, here it's cloudy, and you just brought some sunshine to my day.
Nice.
So I titled this our chat "Race to Align," and it's kind of has a couple different meanings here. You know, all things come together when you're in alignment, when you're in this beautiful place where all things are flowing effortlessly and there's no resistance in our life. However, we are faced with resistance all the time, right? So it's really important that we recognize and know how to pull ourselves together and realign. And so the title of this is Race to Align. And you were just a part of a race, which you're going to talk all about. And that really was, I would say, from an outside perspective, what kind of helped you align and get yourself back on track and refocused. This is not something that we don't race to align, meaning we're not trying to take the quickest route to align. It really has to be a process, and it has to be something that happens in your own time. So Tanya, share with us a little bit before we get into the race story about your backstory. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a mom of 4. They're all grown children. My youngest is 23 and my oldest is 33. 2 grandchildren. I've been working at Community Hospital of the Monterey Peninsula for 20 years, same position, helping other people in nutrition.
I was born there, by the way.
There you go.
In that hospital.
Yeah. So raising my kids, working in nutrition, it's always been a part of who I am. To me, it's like brushing my teeth. When I was pushing my kids in strollers and running around the block, to going to the Monterey Sports Center and realizing, I can lift weights and gain some muscle, to now being a part of the GFit lifestyle and all the purpose that I've learned to bring into my life, my reasons, my whys, I don't want to call them failures, but my times of resistance where I let it take over, to learning something from that. Yeah.
I love how you change that failures, because there's no such thing as failure, right? But you take all of that and you learn from it, but you corrected yourself right there. Yes.
Yeah.
Proof that the lessons are working.
Yes.
So when did you start GFit?
I believe it was 2014. Jana Barjalamo was also a member at the Sports Center, and I used to admire her. And she's been a GFit girl for a long time. I don't know if she still is. And I just started talking to her about her workouts, and she said she was affiliated with you. And that's how I learned about you.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah. I've been around a long time.
And we've always been connected. Now talk about, so you've been around a long time, and let's just be honest and raw and real, because there's a lot of lessons in this next question I'm going to ask you. You know, you've come, you've always been a GFit girl. Once a GFit girl, always a GFit girl. Even if you take a little hiatus, whatnot, you always come back because most people do. So it's a lifestyle. And Yeah, so once a G Fit girl, always a G Fit girl. However, there's times when you take a pivot and you maybe leave. And I know with you, there's been moments where you've kind of left and then come back, which has always been a compliment because you're always coming back.
Yeah.
And then left and then come back. Can you talk a little bit about like what was going on with you when you left, and then also what brought you back in, what keeps you coming back in?
Well, I think part of and I want to call it a problem, is I'm very old school. So to put me first has never been what I'm used to. Once I became a mom, you're a mom. That's your kids come first.
Right.
And I've never been comfortable putting myself first. Finally, at age 58, I've put myself first. It's taken a long time. And during this whole process, the guilt for putting myself first is a lot of the reasons why I would drop away. Life would happen, and then I would feel guilty about thinking about myself when chaos or whatever was happening around me would just take a hold of me, and would just give in to that, because God forbid I still take care of myself when my kids or whoever needs me. This time was different.
Yeah, and I want to talk about like what was that change, because I'm so glad that you recognize that without me even having to bring it to your attention, because there were so many times where we've communicated through email, and and you've mentioned like, oh, I've got all this stuff's going on around me, and you needed to be there for your kids, you need to be there for all these other things, for your patients, whatever it may be. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is when you need this the most, right? So that you can
Right.
be stronger, so that you can have your cup full to be able to pour into other people. But it's so common that people they just tend to put themselves on the back burner because they want to, and it's a very we think it's selfish, but it's actually the most selfless thing we can do, right?
Right.
And so what would you say was the pivotal part, and like when you let go of that guilt and you kind of had this realization that, okay, I understand now that I need to put myself first?
When my sister called me and told me that she had been in that accident, I'm probably going to start crying. I just kept looking at my legs.
So let's talk about the accident before you get into it, and please shed the tears. That's what this is, raw and real, Tanya. You've got a heart of gold, and that's what shows right now. So talk a little bit about the story. People don't know the story with your sister, and this is a real pivotal part in your journey.
Well, she was out taking care of her horses, and they were tied next to each other, and her one horse spooked when she went to throw the saddle on, knocking her to the ground. And because the two horses were tied together, the one horse was able to repeatedly stampede on top of her until she was able to roll away and free herself. So she, I don't know, the one time she took her cell phone with her to the barn. She called her husband, and he rushed her 2 hours away to the closest hospital, and she went right into surgery. And she had a shattered femur, shattered tibia, shattered foot. All her ligaments were crushed. Her ankle was broken above her ankle in 5 places. And she has a full leg cast on at this point. And she cannot walk or put pressure on it for 1 year.
Wow. So for her to be able to come out of that and to see that strength. And so how did that, obviously that affected you in a very big, deep way. And so what did you take from that? And obviously you from there decided to sign up for a race. So talk about that.
Well, a little back step is I had just come back from going to Tahoe, and with me, when I go away, I lose weight. Most people gain weight. I lose weight because I can't eat all day long like I do to keep my weight on. So I was down with my weight, and when this happened, and I was looking at my legs, and I could feel her pain. It was almost like we're twins. It's like I kept looking at my legs like, you need to work. And then in my head, I was thinking, right now you're 5 pounds low, which on me is not a good thing. So I had all this conflict going on. Like, what can I do? I need to feel the pain. I need to push myself, but yet I also need to gain some weight. And that's when I contacted you. And I told you, I really wanted to run this race in honor of my sister, but at the same time, my weight was down. And my story with my weight. If there's any stress or anything out of the normal, my weight just drops easily. So with your coaching and guidance, and I followed what you told me 100%, I was able to maintain and gain during this time frame of training. And it was training. It was not easy. I could barely run 3 miles when I first started, and I complained, and I would think about it, like, what am I complaining about? My sister can't even walk.
I get to do this, right?
I get to do this. Yes. And that's what kept me going. I mean, there was no ands, ifs, or buts. I would just follow the plan that you gave me, and I would drink, eat, work out exactly as it laid out.
Yeah, watching you during this time, Tanya, was just it was so incredible because again, I've been a part of your journey. I've been a part of the like, peace out, Gina. I've got to put my daughter first or my this
Right.
first, which like good for you, you know, but at the same time, it's like, no, Tanya, you're doing so much for everybody else. But you made that commitment, and it was your solid why that is actually what like brought all of the lessons and all of the years of what we've been doing. And so I want to just talk about the importance of having a why. We've talked about it before. It's been a mantra. You know, we talk about having non-negotiables, but like there's so much value. So many people are doing things for the wrong reasons, right? And so many people are doing things for maybe superficial reasons. Oh, I want to run a race because my friend's running the race, or I want to run a race because I want to lose weight, or I want to do this because I want to fit in my jeans. But there's got to be a deeper reason for that purpose. And so do you feel that shift that happened when you actually had this bigger why, this bigger reason for why you were doing what you were doing?
Oh, 100%. I mean, her accident really made me realize this is it. This is what we're given right now. This is what we have. You know, who knows what tomorrow's going to bring us? This is the body we have, and we need to treat it properly. We need to put it first, because if we don't, tomorrow might happen, and where will we be? I don't know.
And all you can control is right now and the actions that you're taking right now.
Right. So the old Tanya would have pulled back, cried, which I cried anyway. Not eaten for purpose, but eaten healthy, but not for purpose. Still work out, but just pulled back, and I would be in the same position that I've been in a zillion times.
Right, just repeating the cycle. But you know what's really fascinating is that in this situation, the old Tanya maybe would have let yourself go again so that you can be there for your sister, so that you can take care of her, so that you can just like, how selfish am I to sit here and take care of me when my sister's over here and she can't even walk? How selfish of my. But the new Tanya sees how much. I mean, I want to know what your sister's reaction was, because you kept it a secret.
I did. After I finished the race, I FaceTimed her, and she started crying, and we both started crying.
Oh my gosh, Tanya.
Yeah,
That's the other beautiful thing is that you didn't do this. You did this for your sister, but it was something that was so within yourself, that why was so solid that you didn't even want her to know. You're not like, you didn't want her to know what you were doing because you were doing this for her. But it's, you know how some people do something and then they like tell the other person like, hey, look what I'm doing for you. Now it's like, you just wanted to prove to yourself that you could do this, knowing that at the end of the race, there was this why that was going to give her so much more strength to keep going, and so much strength to just keep shining every single day, knowing that there's all these people that don't even know her. I know that, you know, that are rooting for her and just sending her so much love. So that was so inspiring to watch, Tanya.
It was an amazing day. It really was. And, you know, I've done events in the past, and this was the easiest, between just following the plan, what I'm supposed to eat the day before, and just the routines that you gave me for my endurance. That day was like such a beautiful day. I had no stomach issues from nerves. I was happy. I just took off. I ran really well. And I mean, I was just so amazed with the whole day.
And that race is what brought you into alignment and what brought all of the pieces together right now. Do you feel like, we talked a lot in the GFit Academy, especially about like that spot where you just feel that alignment? And so do you now know what that feeling is?
Oh, totally. Yes, totally.
And it's like where nothing or no one can stop you.
Right.
And things are just like your body's responding. Like you said, you didn't drop weight, which is huge for Tanya because she definitely tends to drop weight, and that's something that we have to watch. She's definitely not somebody that has a hard time dropping, but
Oh,
it's but it's something that we have to watch carefully. Otherwise, she'll shrink down.
right.
So when she's in alignment, a lot of times when you're in alignment, that's when your body will start to respond and drop, and you start to drop the weight. However, also on the flip side, when you're in alignment, when you're in Tanya's case and you're nourishing your body the right way, then you're not dropping the weight because that wasn't what Tanya needed at the time. So her alignment is to actually maintain or slightly even increase weight as she's increasing her cardio. So that was huge.
Yes, it was huge.
So well, let me ask you this. How you obviously got unstuck. Would you consider yourself stuck there for a while?
Oh, I was stuck for a while, but I'm definitely unstuck.
How, so you said having the why. Is there any piece of advice that you would give somebody who's feeling stuck? What would be the one piece of advice, or maybe two? It's always hard to say one, to get somebody who's unstuck, who feels like they're in this hamster wheel, to get them unstuck?
You have to put yourself first. You really have to do that. It not only just for health, for peace of mind, it really does make everything else around you just come together. Even in stressful situations, we're always going to have stress around us. But if we don't take care of ourselves, I mean, it took me a very long time to figure this out, but I can handle situations. I'm going through one right now. Who's got the vaccine? Who doesn't? You know, it's like, come on now. But I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm handling it. I'm not falling apart. It's different now. So my advice is, once you know what you truly want for yourself, whether it's lose weight, gain weight, start a new career, become a mom, just make it happen and do it for the right reasons. Do it for yourself, not for anyone else. Because if you do it for somebody else, it's not going to happen as you want it to, and you're going to fall right back where you were.
So good. You know, and you talk about how there's so many things going around you, and how now it's how you're handling life. And that is the bigger picture here with GFIT. Is it's like, yes, we have the tools to get you unstuck. We have the tools to help you reach your physical goals, but really it's the tools that help you get better at life, which is what this is all about, right?
Yes.
So seeing that has just been so huge. And you know, what would you say was, so would you say that'd be like the biggest lesson that you learned, is put yourself first no matter what?
I've ever put myself first, ever. And I finally am. And I'm happier. Even in stressful, unhappy times, I'm still a happier person.
Because you know what brings you joy.
Yes.
Ugh, so good. Yeah. And you know, the other thing is that even if you kind of are hearing this and you're like, oh yes, I need to put myself first, to know that you just today start to put yourself first, but you might fall. Don't see it as a failure. You're like because Tanya put herself first and then put others first, then herself first, and then 3 days her first, and then 5 days other people first. And it was this process, right?
Yes.
A year of helping everybody else, and then like 3 days of Tanya. So it happens over time. So you have to know that, okay, I'm believing it. I understand it's the most selfless thing I can do, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get it right away. It doesn't mean that you're going to accept that right away. So you have to give yourself patience. And when I saw Tanya and when everything clicked together, so we've had some we've had some great conversations and some like real conversations, some hard conversations about this, but it wasn't until Tanya was ready that she actually put it all together and was like, okay, I'm doing this, and actually understood what it meant. So it does take time, and you have to be patient with yourself and give yourself grace in the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so I already said advice for somebody struggling with their journey, and you nailed it. Basically, put yourself first and just be patient in the process. And is there anything else that you want to share, Tanya, about your story? I want to share a couple pictures of your sister first. I can't even, when you sent me this picture of you running your picture after the race, just again, it's a picture, but knowing the journey that went along with this picture, so incredible. So we're going to start right here. Due to personal reasons, I'm going to keep getting smarter, hotter, I love that, and more grounded in the skin I'm in. And look at Tanya. What a feeling right there. What is that feeling? What is that emotion that you had right there, Tanya?
It was overwhelmingly wonderful.
So good.
Just
And
being there, the atmosphere, and there was 680 women all running for a reason. Cancer survivors or abuse or just moms, or it was unbelievable.
and it was just all these people that had like a real reason, not just a reason to, superficially look good or whatnot, but it was like a real, true reason of doing something for a bigger purpose.
All shapes and sizes, all ages. I believe there was an 85-year-old lady. Yeah, I
Unbelievable.
know. It was
And this was just a week ago. So are you still on the high?
I am. I had one day this week where I kind of like felt, oh my gosh, it's over.
Right? You have
Yeah,
that little bit of come down.
down, but I'm back up again. Yeah.
But the old Tanya may not have been back up again.
Right.
I just love how, it doesn't matter what, like she said, all ages, walks of life, you just keep continuing to grow. You keep continuing to learn. And every time you hear a mantra, you might hear it a different way where things are going to click, or it might be one experience. And sometimes that experience or that situation might not be the brightest. It was through a tragedy that actually brought this all together and not only changed Tanya, but I know it changed your sister Tammy too, to see what you've done and the strength that you've given her. So how incredible is that?
Yeah.
Here is a picture of
That was at my
Tanya.
daughter's wedding. Yeah.
How sweet. You guys, you look like twins. And then here she was after the accident, still smiling so bright.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure that you've had some talks with your sister about how is she keeping, because I've asked you, like, how is your sister's headspace? How is she staying so positive? And what has she said?
She's amazing. I mean, she's had some hard days, just to move from one spot to the other is incredibly difficult. And, just trying to take a bath, with this leg cast on, or not able to fix herself a sandwich, or, she's had some hard days, but she has more strength than imaginable. She's a fighter. She really is a fighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I,
Wow.
I know. I've learned so much through this from her.
So beautiful.
Also, how I think I was so determined. I mean, she has that strength. So we all have that strength. You just
Within us.
dig deep, like you've always said. It's there.
Dig deep, that inner fire, it's there. And it was just a matter of how do we reignite it? And it could be a person, a thing, but at the end of the day, like Tanya said, it's got to be something that is your solid why, something that gives you that solid purpose. And so now as you shift forward, Tanya, what does the future look like for you? What is the next step?
Put some pounds on.
Let's do it. I'm gonna start eating.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna plump up.
Let's do it. Right. Perfect timing. Just as we're entering maintenance mode, let's do it. I love that. I don't hear that every day. Like, what's next? I'm gonna plump up. Let's put on some weight.
Somehow I'll get there.
I love. Oh, yes, you will. Okay, one question for you is: so I'm from, obviously from Monterey, so I know that it's not a very active. I mean, it is. There's people hiking, is beautiful, but in terms of like our level of active and our level of fitness, it's not.
No.
It's definitely not Southern California.
No.
And I even notice that every time I go home, it's like I get this. I thank gosh I'm on vacation mode because I feel the vacation mode, and I always, we have it in us to do it anywhere, anytime, right? But at the same time, how did you find that inner fire within you when not that many people around you are doing the same thing?
Well, that's always been an issue for me. My girlfriends or just family members, it's always been an issue. Why are you working out? Why won't you eat that piece of cake? Or you don't need to lose weight. Why, just eat it. Or, why are you going for a run? We're on vacation. It's always been an issue. And Monterey Peninsula is not a healthy place. It really isn't. Young moms don't take care of themselves. When I pick up my granddaughter from school once in a while, I'm just shocked at what I see. It's really sad.
Yeah, I can second that. And also I would say that you can't tell right now because you are in the valley too. You have a little bit more sun, but the weather doesn't help either. Because even the most, inspired, motivated of us, when it's not sunny outside, it takes that little extra oomph to get going. So I can totally second that.
But for me, it's who I am. So I've always needed to do this for myself, even when I wouldn't put myself first. I would wake up early and work out, and like all the moms on the GFit lifestyle are doing now, because otherwise you're not comfortable with your day. You're not quite there happy because you didn't get that sweat. You didn't, do what you want to do. It's like brushing your teeth.
You just do it.
Just do it.
Now that you've been in this state of alignment, and I would say, I'm sure that there's been little times in your life where you've been there, right? But maybe you just didn't know you were there. But now knowing what that feels like, doesn't that now help you to like you said, deal with life better, to get yourself going when other people around you aren't working out, or to be able to handle those conversations when people are telling you you don't need to work out, you're already skinny and thin, Tanya, what are you doing? But now once you've been there and that feeling, it just helps you in all areas to be able to handle those conversations a little bit better, because you have that confidence within yourself to know, like, no, what I'm doing is the right thing, and I'm doing this for me. And at the end of the day, none of this matters. What matters is that I am doing this for myself and what makes me show up a better version.
100%. Yeah. And my family and my fiance, they all know when I say I need to get my sweat on, you better let me get my sweat on, because I need that. We
need it. Yeah. Have they noticed a difference in you?
Yes, they have. Mike will ask me questions, they do see a difference, or they want to know, how did Auntie, feel? What was it like? And when they saw my results on the race, how well I did, they were so happy for me. And my youngest daughter, Tanya, was so sweet. She goes, Mom, I'm so very proud of you.
Oh,
yeah, it really made me happy. She goes, I'm so proud you did this for Auntie and for yourself. She goes, you finally did something that you wanted to do.
And that's just the icing on the cake, with everything we were talking about, how you've always put yourself last, putting them first, and here to hear them say, when you put yourself first, I'm so proud of you. You finally did something for yourself, and thank you.
Yeah.
So good. So special. And would you say, I can see it in you, Tanya, the confidence in you is so different.
Thank you.
The mantra a couple weeks ago, we were talking about confidence and where people think confidence comes from. What would you say?
It comes from within. Yeah. It comes from within. It's not coming from anybody telling you you're pretty or you look good, or not even telling you nice job. It has to come from within.
And that comes from, would you agree, the do-it-ins?
Oh, yes.
Now that you've done what you did?
I knew that I could run that race and I was going to do well. I knew it just from the training that I had gone through, after getting up every morning at 4 a.m., putting in 8 hours, coming home. Last thing I felt like doing was running or endurance on the treadmill. I just did it.
I'm so proud of you, because the feeling that you have, and exactly what you said, like nothing or nobody can get in your way. You didn't feel like doing it. It was 4 o'clock, but that was what the training routine said, and you had to do it. And it was on that race day when you actually were right there about to take off, when you probably had that internal scan to say, oh my gosh, I did it. I didn't miss a day. And you, every time we would connect, it'd be like 100%, 100%, 100%, check, 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 check. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is on fire. This is a new version of Tanya. I love it. When you stepped up to that line, like all of those, the doing brought in, led to this do-it-ins, right? All of the things that you did. And so I just love seeing it, because, I think that a lot of times you look at people that have achieved these big things, in my world, achieved winning the Arnold or the Olympia or whatever it is. It's like, oh, I can never do that. Oh, that she just has the genetics. And I just want people to know that it has nothing to do with that superior thing that people think. And it has everything to do with what you did and that feeling that you had, Tanya, at, what'd you say, 56?
58.
What, 50?
58.
58. There you go. Okay. 58. So at Tanya at 58, running this race, like that feeling that she had is the exact same feeling. It didn't take being a professional athlete or whatever it may be. It's that exact feeling of just seeing it through and of making zero excuses. And, that is just so cool, because people just think you have to, be this superior person or do this crazy thing. And it's just doing. And not letting yourself down and showing up for yourself every single day and not letting excuses get in the way. And so for that, I love seeing it in motion, Tanya. You did so great. And thank you for being that example.
Thank you very much for having me on and teaching me what I know.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you, Tanya. And again, like I just find that these GFit chats I was doing them for a while, and every time I do them, everyone gets something out of it. And just to see, here's another person, you know, that maybe you resonate with, somebody who's maybe your age level or whatever it is, or something that's holding you back, and it just something clicks. And so the more of these real conversations to see how are all these people showing up for themselves? How are all these people making it happen? Because we all are in different stages in our lives, but at the end of the day, the foundation is the same.
Yes.
The lessons are the same. And it's just a matter of doing it, seeing it through, and not letting anything get in the way. And like Tanya said, having the courage to show up for yourself. When you think it's selfish, I want you to flip that script and trust that it is the most selfless thing you could ever do for yourself and for everybody else.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Tanya, and everyone here. You know, Tanya is a big part of the tribe, so I will be posting this video. Please chime in. Tanya is here if you have any questions at all. I mean, talk about a woman who is inspiring, and who also has a history of having those hiccups that have led her to where she is today. So thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you in the tribe.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right, ladies. So there was Tanya Tarantino again, just such a special story because, you know, we communicate in the group, and we all kind of get to know each other. But when I've worked with somebody for years and years and see the transformation that's happening, but they don't see it within themselves, and then all of a sudden for things to start to all fall into place, and I saw a completely different version of Tanya. I'm glad that she saw it in herself, starting from when we started several years ago to like drifting away, and then somehow we would keep being pulled back together, right? Because we are all so connected in such a great way. And then all of a sudden it was like she came back, and naturally I'm just like, all right, you know, I don't know how long this episode or this time with her is going to be, but we're going to give it up. We're going to give it our all. And this time it was like, no, she's in this to win this. And so just to watch it and to see her confidence grow, and just so magical. So thank you, Tanya, for coming and sharing your story. And girls, she had such wise words of wisdom. You first. Put yourself first. We have to pour into our cup before we can pour into everyone else. If you want to be that person that you want to be for somebody else, it doesn't mean you putting yourself last so you can be there more for them. So that was just such great advice. And thank you so much. Until our next GFit conversation, have an amazing best day ever. And I will see you real soon.